Hello and welcome to Beer for Breakfast, ABV. I am Danielle from Marty and Danielle in the Morning on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura, Brewmaster of Karl Strauss. And we are going to North County, San Diego to go to Dos Desperados. We have Dan as well as Hayden from Dos Desperados. Welcome, guys.
How you doing, Danielle? Paul, how we doing?
Fantastic. Dan is sales manager, Hayden, head brewer. Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers. Great to have you guys on the show, man. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having us. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. Probably a couple of years, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I started about 5 years ago, and I think that was the last time we were on, so we're happy to be back.
Awesome.
Welcome. We're kicking it off with the Lager Magnifico, trying to get way too fancy with it. But 4.7% ABV. Tell me all about this beer.
So this is our German-style Helles lager. People like to call it a Mexican lager, with the name and the colors. So we let them call it that. It's close enough. It's a pretty simple beer. We made it as light and refreshing and drinkable as possible. 4.7%. We have a little bit of Millennium, a little bit of Saaz hops in there. So traditional with the Saaz, and then more modern with the Millennium, more citrus forward. And it's my favorite beer we have. It's just so crushable. It's perfect for a hot day like today, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Trip to Mount Crushmore.
Yes, sir.
It's got a nice kind of slightly sweet lingering finish that's very bready and I don't know, biscuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we use Weyermann Pilsner in this beer. Weyermann's one of my favorite malts, especially when it comes to Pilsner. It's just got such a good malt character to it.
Really
we just freshly canned this, so we're ready to get it going out there to your local liquor stores and get it ready for that pool time that's about to happen here. Beaches and pools and all that stuff about to open up for a lot of people the first time this year, so we're stoked to have it out there for people to enjoy in the hot sun,
It's delicious.
Yeah, this is a beer you can take anywhere, man, on hikes or wherever it is, backyard parties. You make a lot of people happy with this beer.
Definitely. That's why we have it in the 12-ounce can, too. We do 12-ounce six-packs. Everything else we do in 16 ounces, especially because they're usually IPAs. That just seems to be the trend these days. But we like to keep these in the smaller cans, easier to carry with you to beach hikes, things like that.
So this beer is like a core brand, right? Available year-round?
Always.
Right on.
Yeah, it's one of our best sellers. This is one of my easiest beers to sell. Hayden made it so crisp, so clean. It's hard not to sell this beer. It goes out. We definitely run up right against the deadline sometimes on the production. And we're yanking them off as fast as he can keg them. So that's a great beer.
Yeah, it's sitting in the tank behind me right now. We had to buy a 20-barrel fermenter in order to keep up with production. It's our only 20-barrel fermenter.
Awesome.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering what's going on with Dos Desperados. As we said, we haven't had you guys on Beer for Breakfast for a couple of years, and we're coming off of one of the weirdest years ever. But what's happening and what's going on with you guys?
Well, we've been, plugging along like everybody else. We didn't let COVID kill us, and we refused to let that stop us. We just celebrated 7 years in business, which has been a crazy year. Obviously, we haven't been able to celebrate our last two anniversaries. So some people are like, how long have you been here? We're like 7 years. They're like, God, it just seems like yesterday. I'm like, well, everything seems like yesterday after this past year. But we were like everybody else, had to think of new ways to operate, new things to do, think outside of the box to, just beyond the to go and, pick up. We're thinking outside the box. I had a bunch of friends in HR. We worked with a lot of HR departments actually doing their, happy hour Zoom meetings and that kind of stuff, delivering to companies, 50 people at home. We go and deliver to their house so they could do their Zoom meetings, which led into a lot of really cool things. Hayden being a graduate of Cal State San Marcos and playing baseball there, that gave us the idea to hook up with them. And we did some beer and cheese pairings with, their business department, and a couple other departments where they did Zoom meetings, just kind of like what we're doing right now, tasted beer and matched it with cheese. And we just kind of thought outside the box and just tried to, move beer and move liquid as best as we could. Now we're starting to open back up. We're, just trying to get the tasting room back up and running. we're busting along, making new beers, collabs, all that kind of stuff. So getting ready and happy and looking forward to the future that is coming up. That is hopefully a better 2021. So far, it has been.
That's awesome. And where is the tasting room located exactly?
We're in San Marcos. We're off Linda Vista Drive. We're right between basically San Marcos Boulevard and Las Posas. So yeah, we're right off. We have 2 freeway exits right off the 78, ready to come and bring you right to our tasting room. So we're basically Linda Vista off Las Posas. That's pretty much as major and intersections as we can get. So that helps out a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prime spot right there. I think you guys are going to need another 20-barrel fermenter like pretty quick.
Yeah, that's the goal. We're hoping to get 1 or 2 more as we ramp up here as COVID's ending. Very exciting.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, before we get into the Hazy Daisy, we're not going to drink this beer, but Dan, you gifted us this really awesome beer and told us to put it in our cellar. Tell me all about this.
So I'm going to let Hayden talk most about the beer, but this is our El Camino Belgian quad. We did take the 2020 bronze medal at the Great American Beer Festival. Funny little story before I let Hayden get really into the beer. This was the first beer that Hayden, when he became the head brewer, basically as far as we know, the youngest head brewer in the nation. We're not going to quote us on that, but he came out and we said, "Hey, what beer do you want to brew as your first recipe?" And he goes, "I want to do a Belgian quad." And we're like, "Oh, look at the moxie on this guy, man. He's ready to go." And, he started brewing it and, 2.5, 3 years later, we get the bronze medal on it.
I'm fairly certain that we entered our 2 Tortugas into that same category a couple years ago. So this youngest brewer in America probably beat one of the oldest brewers in America.
That's awesome.
We'll have to do a side-by-side taste test there.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Be awesome. So this beer, or the Belgian quad, that was the first beer I wrote the recipe from complete scratch. The first beer I made as head brewer was Hazy Daisy, but that was just an IPA, adapted from another one we brewed before. So this one I did, spent weeks researching, checking out different recipes, deciding what I wanted to do. And we have a small pilot batch system. It's our owner's old homebrew system, but I don't like using that a lot. So we just went for it. We just made a full 10-barrel batch. And that was a scary 2-3 weeks waiting for that to ferment and get ready, but it ended up being exactly what I wanted. We went through that batch, then we did a half batch just because we didn't have much cold room space. Belgian quad doesn't sell like crazy here in San Diego. But that half batch was the magic recipe, and that won the bronze medal, which was great because that was, peak COVID of being shut down. I was a little down in the dumps. I wasn't brewing much anymore, like almost once a month. And then that medal came out of nowhere, and it was awesome.
It's also really cool, this being, as bummer as it was that everybody didn't get to go out to Denver and you didn't get to accept your award in front of everybody there. It was also like a little bit cooler because so many more people got to see you guys win since it was done over the internet. So I bet a bunch more people were exposed to Dos Desperados than they would have been if we had all been in Denver.
Oh, absolutely. Funny story about that is I was working the taste room. We had, right when we were starting to be able to kind of be open outdoors with some food, and we had one of our premier food vendors there. It was right during the awards announcements, and Hayden sends me a text like, "Oh man, 3 of our beers are down. We only have 1 left. It's the Belgian quad." And I go, we were almost like, well, hey, there's always next year. And the minute he sent me that text, my phone starts blowing up. "Hey, congratulations. Next thing you know, my phone's ringing. It's Hayden. He's like, "We won. We got the Belgian quad." And it was like, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so busy right now. I got to go." But it was pretty funny because we probably wouldn't have gotten it was like 20, 30 texts I was getting. It's because everybody was watching it virtually. So it was really cool.
Awesome how everybody roots for each other, right, in San Diego. I think we all feel like we're part of the same community, and anytime one brewer wins, we're all stoked for whoever that is, and we're all like, "Yeah, way to go, way to bring home the bling to San Diego and represent." Absolutely,
we have one of the best beer community. I say one of the best. We have the best beer community in all the nation, if not the world. Everybody's, we're all competition, but we all hang out. We do collabs. We help each other out. Someone needs a hop, man, we got it for you. It's nice to have that respect around San Diego, that everybody's willing to help and be respectful and take a little bit of pride when one of our fellow brethren bring back a medal or anything like that. It's a really good time, man. It's San Diego beer industry. You can't beat it.
Agreed. Cheers to that.
Virtual high five you guys on that, man.
Well, let's get into Hazy Daisy. Look, you put a dog on a can and I'm all about it. It doesn't even matter what's in the can, but I'm sure that what's in the can is amazing. Is Daisy your dog, Hayden?
She is. She is sleeping in the corner of the tasting room right now in her little spot. She is a lazy golden retriever, for sure. So this was the first beer I made as head brewer. We didn't have any hazy IPAs before this beer. It must have been 4 years ago now. Our owner wasn't into making a hazy IPA. He is from New England, so I kept telling him it was called the New England IPA, but he's still giving me some pushback. I'm like, come on, everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. We got to get on board. So he didn't completely agree to me brewing it. I kind of just said I'm brewing an IPA. So we brewed the beer. 3 weeks later, I throw it on tap, and I've never seen him so happy to drink a fresh beer other than a Saison before. He shook my hand a whole bunch of times and was really excited. And we've been making it ever since. It's our best-selling beer. We're getting close to 50 brews of this beer, which is by far the most times we've ever brewed a beer. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So does Daisy just hang out in the tasting room and just kind of roams around? I love that because I feel like when the brewery dog comes and finds you, it's like you've been the chosen one. And it's just like, oh.
Especially for Daisy, because she will not get up and come and find you. You have to come and find her. She doesn't move a whole lot. She'll love getting pet, but you got to go and find her. That's for sure.
It is a funny. She's there so often that when people come up and they see her laying there, like, oh my God, she's so cute. I go, look at the can. They go, if you buy a 4-pack, it's a special promotion today. Get a picture with the model. So you get a picture with the model, and we have her sign it with her paw.
That's amazing.
Already. Somebody just posted, I think 3-4 days ago, I saw somebody was at the tasting room and said, hey, there's Hazy Daisy. And I went, wow, that's actually a really cool name for like a hazy beer. I apologize. I had no idea. Like you guys were already on it.
We're on top of it.
And this is one of the better ones I've had. This just has like the perfect mouthfeel. You get all the hop flavor, and it comes across really orangey and tangerine-like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get so much of the bitterness. I venture to guess, like you probably don't throw anything into the early kettle, right? It's probably all
5 to 10 pellets of hops at 60 minutes, and then we do flame out, not whirlpool. We do seasonal hazies, so I try to differentiate them a little bit by bitterness wise. So I do those all whirlpool editions. This is a flame out edition, just to give us a little bit of bitterness there. And it doesn't finish too dry, but it can kind of have that feel to it because there's no lactose or anything. I don't put in a crazy amount of oats, just some wheat and a bag or two of oats.
It's really got a smooth, like chewy texture, man. It's like creamy.
Mm-hmm.
It has a wonderful mouthfeel. Once again, it's another one of those beers that Hayden's made it real easy for me to go out there and sell. People, they taste it and they're like, yeah, I got to have this. And then especially if it's cans, anything, they're like, well, it's got a dog on it. Yeah, we're going to sell this. So.
She's doing that, but hey, it's fair game. She's actually my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, it 100% sold me.
Absolutely.
Danielle's dog, Marilyn, looks just like that, right?
It's true. She does look like Marilyn. Now, so if you ever want to make, another beer, I will lend you Marilyn, and it can be like, we can start a series.
We can do a beer for breakfast dog beer. Let's do that.
Yeah.
You want to call it like Dos Perros.
There you go. I like it.
That's a great idea.
There you go.
It's got to be a double hazy then.
It's like almost got a Looney Tunes like comic feel to it.
Yep. Yeah, for some reason when we were talking about canning this beer, that just was in my head. I wanted this like royal blue, and I don't know, the Looney Tunes rings kind of just made sense. And one of my friends from kindergarten drew the picture of Daisy. She took 2 different pictures of her, one with a good angle of the head and the other one with the tongue coming out. And it looks just like her. I can't believe how well it came out.
This is awesome. I love this beer now. This is now turning into one of my new favorite beers.
Awesome. And this one, of course, we have year round as well.
It looks like maybe I know I realize it's been a few years since we had you guys on the show, but was there also sort of a logo change in the last few years?
Yeah, that was, so we started dealing with a lot of, we kind of went through the whole thing where we still embraced the old Western. We had our poncho can, I would show you right now. We had kind of keep the Western theme with the wanted posters and all that kind of stuff. But with so many things going on right now and no matter how you feel, guns and violence and all that kind of stuff, there were a lot of customers that weren't so keen on, even if it's Old West and stuff, the Dead Man's Hand and pistols and stuff. So actually, it's funny. I went up to Portland several years ago, and I stumbled upon this little brewery that we had just opened, hadn't had their soft opening yet, called Great Notion. And they had really great marketing. They had this lumberjack that kind of didn't have a face on it and all that kind of stuff. When I came back, I said, we need something that's going to be like a Nike swoosh, like a graphic kind of feel to us that kind of gets away from anything that could, kind of temper people away from buying our brand as far as, guns, no matter how you feel and all that kind of stuff. We needed something that was just a little bit more broad. And I said, I kind of drew this thing on almost a napkin, a little piece of paper. And I said, what about this? It's like a faceless Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa is our double IPA, and kind of one of the things that we use here to distinguish us as Dos Desperados. And I kind of drew this little thing. We had our guys kind of clean it up and everything. And we came up with we call it the faceless poncho. And it's kind of almost, kind of like a Pringles can, anything like that. And it's more of a graphic design that kind of just, you see it and you're kind of like, oh, I like that logo. What is that? And kind of distinguishes us to have that kind of on everything. So just, doing our part to try to not appease, but also, change with the times and everything that's going on. Things change and you're either moving or you're stopping. And, like a shark, if you stop, you're not living too long. And if you keep moving, you keep going. So we kind of came up with that, and it was kind of a hit, and people love it. And we kind of just put it on everything now.
It's easily identifiable. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
The beer's as solid as I remember it always being. Kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Dan, where can we get cans of Dos Desperado? I'm assuming inside of the tasting room, but are you in grocery stores and bottle shops and such?
We are in a few little grocery. We are self-distributed, so obviously that limits our ability in some grocery stores and that kind of stuff. We are in a few different Barron's markets, Rancho Bernardo, actually Otay Ranch, Magnifico. We're in a few little places here and there. That being said, we're in a couple different liquor stores around town. I don't know if we're allowed to go ahead and shove their names out there, but if you're in Poway, local bottle shop carries us. If you're up in Escondido, Lago Market carries us right up there by the mall. But we're out and about. We're still pushing around. We're occasionally in different places. Obviously your big ones. Oh, shoot. Now I just forgot. See, that's what happens when you drink beer. You forget about things. But we're out there pushing, and you'll see us in your local liquor stores and bottle shops very soon. We'll make a push.
Do you have a locator on your guys' website?
We do not. That is actually a really good question. We should probably get the locator on there.
I got you, dude.
Same,
I
know.
You.
Well, I take care of social media. We have an owner that takes care of website and all that kind of stuff. So I will get on him about that.
There you go. Before we leave you guys, is there anything you would like the people to know about Dos Desperados?
Hayden, you want to go or should I go?
Well, we're coming out with some new beers pretty soon, which is very exciting. We don't get to do that a whole lot. So we always have our lager Magnifico as our flagship lager, and we like to do rotating lagers. A few weeks ago, I brewed a New Zealand Pilsner with all Motueka hops. So I'm very excited to have that in the next couple of weeks. And 2 weeks ago, we did a collab with Viewpoint Brewing in Del Mar. We made our first hazy double IPA, some real tasty hops. So we're excited to try that the end of this week, I think. And yeah, so new beers, it gets me really excited. So
that's awesome.
And you can always catch us at plenty of bars, restaurants all over the place. We're at the Lot movie theaters. We do a bunch of beers there. We're all over the place. But remember, if you like Dos Desperados, just ask your local bar. Tell them to contact Dan Jackson because you need to have Dos Desperados in that bar.
From the man himself.
Absolutely.
Mr. Paul Segura, anything from you?
Thank you for this bottle. Thank you for this sweet new lid. I am stoked to see you guys again and stoked you guys made it out of COVID. And your trajectory is looking good and everything's looking good. Bravo on all of that. Hayden, keep making great beer, man.
Thanks, Paul. Doing my best. It's a blast. You know,
makes my job easy.
And with that, Hayden, Dan, thank you so much for joining us for Beer for Breakfast ABV this Friday morning. Paul will be joining myself and Marty on 91X, 91.1 on your dial, or stream us from 91x.com for free. For breakfast, that will happen at 9:10 Pacific Standard Time. We will be drinking beer, Dos Desperados. And with that, cheers to independently owned craft beer and radio in San Diego.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.